What's up, guys? Your boys are back. I'm Ryan, my man George.
Yeah, what's up, guys? How you living out there, man? Shout out to the free thinkers, of course. Shout out to everybody out there rocking with the channel.
Make sure you subscribe and, like the videos and all that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Make sure if you are an up-and-coming artist or if you're an artist and want us to cover your music, make sure you check out the link in the description. All that information will be down below, man. Let's get to it, man. JID got his new album out, man. We're doing Community today, by the way. But yeah, man, what is it? God does like ugly?
Oh, he likes ugly. The original was God don't like ugly.
Right.
So we did the Animal song. That was off of like what he called it, the Prelux, right? He was getting ready for the album. We did that. Then we did the song Bodies with him and Offset.
Yep.
Right? So that was a nice little, again, that was more so Offset song featuring JID. But still was, prepping for, the album coming out. And this song right here, Community, man, y'all flooded us like crazy to get this done on Instagram. Y'all DM'd us crazy on Instagram to knock this out. So that's why we're doing this song. This song and, what is it, Off the Blue or Off Blue? Let me look at the exact title. Oh, excuse me, Of Blue.
Gotcha, okay.
Is the other song that you guys wanted us to do. That came in second, but this one dominated the request. We've heard Work, which I think is solid. You know what I'm saying? So let's see, man. Big. This is a big album for JID to me. It's a big album. You know what I mean? I want him to really eat on this joint though, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the world is sort of anticipating him as really being the only one, I think, from a commercial / skill standpoint that really seems to have it be within reach of being in that to take that next leap. So let's get into it though, man.
And Clipse is on this too.
Oh yeah, Clipse too. Shout out to I think that's what it is, because Clipse just came off of Let God Sort Them Out, and they had a lot of buzz, a lot of momentum. So I think that's why you guys were like, get to the Clipse joint. Let's get into it though. JID Community featuring Clipse.
Them understand shit. The sun tried to understand. The gun made me understand. The rain tried whispering the warning. The land shaking, plus the rhythm is enormous. All the forces like a portal to a vortex, connected to the stars, just projecting where we part at. Pull up where you park at. Aim a little dark, look, where your bark at. It'd be a shame if you stayed in them apartments. 12 barely came to them apartments. Catch a play and then parlay in them apartments. I swear it's like a party every day in them apartments. You was raised in them apartments, dang. Jump a shot or join a gang in them apartments. My mama say we gotta get away from them apartments. It's graves in them apartments, and they ain't gotta end this way, cause we ain't started shit.
I don't give a fuck about no industry beef. Ain't nobody give a fuck when Tay was dead in the street. I don't do the shit you see on the screens. I've been tapped in with true things. I peep your rap cap and I unscrew things. I don't give a fuck about them niggas at the top. The biggest nigga on the block still get shot. Pop, you thinking pop, I'm thinking can't talk about that shit from
you gotta chill
you
out.
Seen Fox? Lisa and Al-Gaib, I see a tiny line of silver. A way to make a play, although they say it's unfamiliar. It's off the kilter. I say the words without a filter. You gotta have nerve, it'll make you strong if it don't kill you. I'll put a bullet in Bob the fucking builder before they try and kick us out the building. What about the children? When I check a news channel, I get a similar feeling, but still, we gon' make it to heaven, high water or hell, but don't take the highways. 285 behind the damn wheel, it's like a driveway. Giving out like a give Christ, and I do it twice. Shot Gil Chris, heard thunder hit with lightning, and still I didn't feel shit. Talk about resilience, off of Stone Mount locked on you, where I honed into my brilliance. It was after then I took my talents right up to Virginia. Heard they said that she for love, her shit was good, her shit was gritty. I can tell you what it was, but let bro tell you what I'm missing. Pay attention. What's missing in my hood? Before we get the
Yeah. He came right in, didn't he? He came right in. I thought it was gonna be like a chorus or something right there after he finished his little. Yeah, man. But let me go back for a minute though, man. First thing I want to say is I didn't even know JID was rapping. That didn't even sound, because the voice chopped and screwed sound. I didn't even know that was him, first of all. And then the way he came into it, like, I don't give a fuck about no industry beef. That didn't even sound like him until he got into like.
You used to the beat,
Yeah.
we used to that. The beat.
He sound like beep beep. That's all, folks. No, he don't sound like that. But I'm used to him having that certain sound. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Sounding like JID. I didn't realize it.
Tone-wise, it was different. Yeah,
Right. Tone-wise, I didn't really know that was him until he kind of got into, I think he said something, you make a play and it's unfamiliar or something like that. When he was in that bag, I was like, okay, that's JID. But that whole thing was JID. Even the beginning all the way up until that part. He said it'd be a shame if you stayed in those apartments. You know what I'm saying? 12 barely even came to those apartments. So the police don't even visit those apartments. And that right there paints the picture of what life looks like in certain neighborhoods, right? Because being from Chicago, man, Cabrini Green back in the day before they tore that down, man, that was a thing. Like the police that was like its own city.
And that had nothing to do with Candyman either.
No, it didn't.
They were literally filming a horror movie based off of Cabrini Green. That's how bad Cabrini Green was.
That's true. So that tells you all you need to know.
That tells you all you need to know. Yeah, this would be a great place to film a horror movie.
There's so much death there already.
Perfect.
So being from Chicago, man, I can that really painted a picture like, yeah, I remember that, man, that police didn't visit certain neighborhoods often. Let me rephrase that, often, you know what I mean? So so that really kind of painted the picture for me, and I'm like, kind of brought me back. Then he said party every day in those apartments. He was raised in those apartments. So I think it's just kind of like you have these memories of good times in the midst of bullshit. Right. You know what I'm saying? Either you got a jump shot or you join a gang in them apartments. What did Biggie say, man? Either you sling a crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot, you know? Because that's always been like the same. You know, either you got to have a sport. You either better play football, basketball, or be an artist of some sort, rap or whatever the case may be if you want to make it out the hood. That was like the only...
your options are limited.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the point of the line.
That's the point of the line, but that's what people said all the time. Like that's the only thing, even though you got other options, but as George just illuminated, yeah, your options are limited. And then he said, Mama said, we got to get away from them motherfuckers. Well, not them motherfuckers, but...
No, that's what she said.
Yeah.
That's actually what she said.
Exactly. I remember that, like, vividly growing up.
Graves in them apartments.
Yeah.
That's what he said earlier. Like, later on, it's graves in those apartments.
Yeah, man, there's no future. There's no future, you know what I mean?
His voice changed up, though, when he went to the I don't give a fuck about no industry beef. You know what I'm saying? And he said, ain't nobody give a fuck when his man Tay got killed in the streets or whatever he said there. And I think that's his way of saying this. I don't care about this rap shit that you guys are consumed with. That's not something that is real to me, right? He said something about, you know, I've been tapped in with true things. You know what I'm saying? So the industry beef, I'm assuming he's talking about Kendrick and Drake. Mm-hmm. Like, you guys are consumed with this shit, crying and arguing online, and I got people close to me dying in the real street. I'm worried about real shit. I think that's
exactly what he said, right? Yep. I'm tapped into true things.
True things, you know? He said, I peep your rap cap and I unscrew things.
Yeah.
You know, a little bar there, right? I peep the lies, a rap cap meaning lies, and I unscrew things. If you think of a cap, you know, you unscrew a cap. But I expose things, I think is what he's saying. You know what I mean? He said, I don't give a fuck about them dudes at the top. You know what I'm saying? The biggest dude on the block can still get shot. So I think that's a play, right? Like, you know, that's some street shit. He's still talking about, you know, because you're referencing back to his man Tay dying in the street. It doesn't matter. Anybody could die. Anybody could get it, right?
Yep.
But also on some rap shit, though. I think he's saying that the dudes at the top, I don't give a fuck about who's at the top. I'm coming for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking for, they can still they have a target on their back now. But I think he's sort of like playing the street versus rap shit, right? You thinking Pac, I'm thinking this. So I'm thinking real shit, but at the same time, I'm that dude too. On some rap shit, I'm killing dudes too. So I think that's what he played on. I thought he did a dope job with that too, man. He had bars, and it's intentional, and it has substance, right? It doesn't feel as randomized as what I've heard from JID and a lot of his songs. Like, I feel like I'm following along with a point that he's trying to make. Then he said, I put a bullet in Bob the fucking Builder before they kick us out this building. You know what I mean? So now I feel like there's sort of I don't know if it's gentrification is what he's talking about.
Could be, yeah.
Because, you know, there's graves in them buildings, though. So, you know, I don't know where he's going there. But I think it's this way of saying, like, you know, there would be nowhere else for us to go if these young black youth were kicked out of the building or gentrified, right? So I will go to war. Because Bob the fucking Builder, I think, is like an animated toy or some shit like that, right? It's like, I think it's this way of saying, like, I don't give a fuck who gets annihilated. Like, I would go to great lengths to protect, you know, these kids and these children, you know what I'm saying, from being just thrown out to the cold.
What about the children?
Yeah, what about the children? You know, when I check the news channel, I get a similar feeling. You know, so he said, what about the children? Like, what are they gonna do? You know what I'm saying? If they're kicked out of these buildings are all they have, I think is what he's saying. We gonna make it to heaven, high water, or hell.
Yeah.
Right?
Hell or high water.
We gonna make it to heaven, hell or high water, or we gonna make it anywhere, right? That's a saying, the old saying that you say that, like, we gonna make it.
You're gonna find a way.
We gonna find a way, like, cause usually my uncle said that on a trip. We was driving in his shitty ass car. We gonna make it to the destination through hell or high water. You know what I'm saying? Like, that means like shit, it's gonna be very difficult to get there, but we'll get there. You know what I'm saying? He said, but don't take the highways. I think he's just saying, don't take the highway to hell. Don't take the fast route to hell. En route to getting to heaven, I think was his point by saying that.
Yeah.
He had this line, giving all I could give to Christ and I'll do it twice, right? So he kind of going back up when he said, we're gonna make it to heaven, high water or hell. So then he says, giving all I could give to Christ. So again, there's a spiritual aspect of what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
Trying to make it to heaven, Christ, and he'll do it twice. But then he says, Shay Gilchrist. I don't know if he just mispronounced that or if there's a reason for it to just connect the bar.
The Christ, Gil Christ.
The Gil Christ, I guess.
Maybe, yeah.
Heard thunder, hit with lightning. We know Shay Gilchrist Alexander plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So that's a kind of basketball reference there. But hit with lightning. Shay Gilchrist or Shay Gildress Alexander heard thunder, hit with lightning. It almost sounds like he got shot or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard the thunder, the sound from the gun, hit with lightning. The actual lightning that he got struck with something is what it sounds like. I could be wrong. I don't know if JID's been shot before. I think of, again, God testing him. You know, God, whatever that test may be. You know what I mean? Maybe you got shot or maybe it was just the community. The song is called Community. Growing up in this community and the resilience you have to make it out of it. So he has the thunder and rain in relation to, you know, the Shay Gildress play, right? Right, but then he also is talking about rain in the chorus. The rain couldn't understand it. So it just seems like it's unsettling in like nature sees what's happening in these communities and even nature doesn't understand why people are maybe harming themselves and killing themselves. So it's like unsettling for the earth, right? So it's this spiritual play. Like this nature sort of like, you shouldn't be killing each other. You shouldn't be putting each other through what you're putting, through. We should be coming together. It should be love. It shouldn't be violence, right? So it seems like that's kind of what he's saying. Like, if anything, there will be a toll to pay. You know what I'm saying, for this, right? Because it said the rain tried whispering the warning. The land shaking plus the rhythm is enormous. So it feels like because of these things happening in these environments, like, maybe it all happens for a reason, but something is going to happen to shake shit up because this is sort of it's an unnatural balance in nature for these things to be happening, right? The rain tried whispering a warning, like something's coming. You know what I mean? People are killing each other. People are struggling. Maybe it's the great flood to even a playing field out. I'm not sure if he's saying that, like, because people in the hood are struggling so much. Oh, the playing fields will be level. You know what I mean? Maybe it's sort of an apocalyptic thing. And
one way or another.
So very thought-provoking, man. It's kind of what I wanted to get around to with JID's verse. Let's keep it rocking.
Chris heard thunder hit with lightning and still I didn't feel shit. Talk about resilience off of Stone Mount Lithonia where I honed into my brilliance. It was after then I took my talents right up to Virginia. Heard they said that she for lovers, shit was good or shit was gritty. I could tell you what it was, but let bro tell you what I'm missing. Pay attention. What's missing in my hood, I identified.
Yeah, that was dope though. Before I know I'm waiting for Pusha to go crazy, but he said, he took my talents to Virginia. He went to school in Virginia. Then he said, heard they said the shit for lovers, right? I think that's the whole thing for Virginia. Yeah. Philly's like the city of brotherly love, but it's like the murder capital at one point. But Virginia's for lovers, and he's saying it. He's like, they say the shit for lovers, but it was gutter. Shit was gritty. I could tell you what it is, but I'm gonna let bro tell you what I'm missing. And then Pusha T starts to rap. We know Pusha T and Malice, Clipse, they're from Virginia. So he's introducing Pusha T. I think that's dope.
It was after then I took my talents right up to Virginia. Heard they said that she for lovers, shit was good or shit was gritty. I could tell you what it was, but let bro tell you what I'm missing. Pay attention. What's missing in my hood, I identified. Then I brought white to my hood. Shit, I gentrified. We had military arms, we would simplify.
Oh man, you know what's funny about that, man? I mean, we all know what Pusha T does, man. I'm gonna get to the line in a minute, but that is so hilarious coming off of what fucking JID just was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the issues and stuff like that in those apartments and all that other stuff, right? And talking about and the way JID lobbed that shit up to fucking Pusha T. He's all, I'm gonna let my brother tell you about what I'm missing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And he's like, okay, I'll definitely tell you about what you missed in your verse.
Right.
What you missed, JID, is I gentrified the hood with cocaine. You know what I'm saying?
I bought the white end. Gentrification, the idea of gentrification, they say, you know, white people are coming over and taking over.
And taking over, rebuilding, and all that kind of stuff, and taking out the culture of what that community stands for. You know what I'm saying?
So whites, as in white people, but white as in coke.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I gentrified it.
Yeah, I saw exactly what was missing. So he saw, I'm gonna let bruh tell you what I was missing. That's what JID said.
Right,
so
right.
yeah, so that was the alley-oop, right? That was a Chris Ball alley-oop, and like Blake Griffin back in the day dunking it, right? And Pusha T was like, yeah, what you missing? I saw what was missing in the hood. I gentrified that shit. It was the crack. That's what your whole verse was missing.
Not like science and mathematics schools and shit like that. You know, not like playgrounds. You know what I'm saying? Safe, not like safe playgrounds and community centers. Like no. Yeah, my hood is missing cocaine.
Yeah, that's the opportunity right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, he was
low hanging fruit.
Yeah, he was missing money. That's what was the hood didn't have any money. So I know what I can do to bring money to the hood. You know what I'm saying? So let me pull it back. That was hilarious though.
What's missing in my hood, I identified. Then I brought white to my hood. Shit, I gentrified. We had military arms, we would simplify. Point blank, let me simplify. I've been light post, corner boy, green box sitter, crack nigga. Tryna hustle up and act bigger. 6 deuce buyer, niggas really live the wire. From lookouts, then we meteor to suppliers. Caged in, one way in, one way out. Robocops on mountain bikes, ain't pulling mace out. Just trying to get back home from getting chased out. A week ago, a boy like me don't got a face now. The apartments, the projects, the ghettos, all the same shit. Crazy how we hopscotch and double dutch danger. We ADHD and all the pills that you gave us. How we supposed to process this anger?
Yeah, he went crazy.
He
went crazy.
This fucking beat was made for Pusha, dude. The way he was rapping on this,
killed that.
That cadence, the way on beat, my God, man, he killed that. I almost want to hear that shit again before we talk about the fucking
He went
verse,
crazy though.
because I loved his pocket on this beat. This shit was made for Pusha. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Because I like JID, you know you my guy, man. But the way Pusha approached this fucking beat, this shit was just made.
I like
for him,
that
dude.
green box sitter, crack, trying to hustle up and get. You know what I mean? It was just
all that. Can we listen to it one more time
let's
before
do
we
it.
break that
Let's
down?
run it
'Cause
back.
that shit was
He
crazy.
killed his verse though.
Yeah, he killed it lyrically too. But God, I love the cadence in that shit. I gentrified the fucking pauses. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, he got busy.
What's missing in my hood, I identified. Then I brought white to my hood. Shit, I gentrified. We had military arms, we would simplify.
That was hard.
Point blank, let me simplify. I've been light post, corner boy, green box sitter, crack nigga. Tryna hustle up and act bigger. 6 deuce buyer, niggas really live the wire. From lookouts, then we meteor to suppliers. Caged in, one way in, one way out. Robocops on mountain bikes, ain't pulling mace out. Just tryna get back home from getting chased out. A week ago, a boy like me don't got a face now. The apartments, the projects, the ghettos, all the same shit. Crazy how we hopscotch and double dutch danger. With ADHD and all the pills that you gave us. How we supposed to process this anger?
The rain could.
Yeah, these motherfuckers, they just be writing essays, man. Yeah. They just bring it all together. You know what I'm saying? On topic, you know?
Yeah, boy, it's crazy how we hopscotch danger.
Double dutch danger.
Yeah. I love that play, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you know hopscotch is games that you played, and double dutch with the rope. You know, it's games that you played as kids. And in the hood, I'm sure other people played it too, but that's just what we're talking about the hood right now. And but he was like, dude, the way we handled danger was it's like an everyday thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was like an everyday thing. You played these when you play hopscotch and double dutch, it's just something that you do to pass time and kids having a good time, right?
It's like a kid playing soccer ball and he's like in Afghanistan.
Right.
Playing with soccer ball. Like,
dodging bullets. Like it's landmines.
There's landmines and shit all over the place. And you sitting here like la 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 la. So just the symbolism of that, right? Like
beautiful,
you are in
right?
an absolute war zone, but yet you have your little girls are sitting here playing double dutch and hopscotch. You know what I mean? I thought that was real.
We had military arms. We were Semper Fi, right? Was that Marines, right?
Yep.
Semper Fi, you know what I mean? I thought that was hard. I mean, he's on his drug and gun shit, but again, the way
but we had military arms though. Why are like young kids in the hood carrying military?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to have military guns.
Exactly.
So that's the picture he's painting, right?
Like shit was crazy.
We was simplified. We was basically Marines in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like that was crazy. So
he identified it though.
Yeah, he identified.
Identified the opportunity. He's like, we really lived that drug life that The Wire portrayed. And I guess, George, you were telling me that real street dudes played The Wire.
Yeah, a couple characters in The Wire was really into some shit.
Yeah, so that's why that line to me means more. He was like, dude, you know what I'm saying? Because they were trying to make The Wire, again, I'm told, I haven't seen that. They were trying to make it as real as possible. You know what I mean? With hiring people to act that was really in the streets to play these roles to give it that authenticity. He's like, no, we really lived that shit. You know what I'm saying? We did it all. Caged in, one way out, RoboCops on mountain bikes. They ain't pulling mace out. But the way he rhymed, that cadence was crazy.
He used the term RoboCop.
Yep.
Like it's almost like a killing machine.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like RoboCops. They
no
not pulling mace
feelings,
out.
no fucking.
No feelings whatsoever.
Yeah, no emotions, just doing your job and just taking life fucking, senselessly is kind of the way I'm taking that line.
And then caged in, one way out as well. And I think that has like, some depth to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's probably a physical location where it's just one way in, one way out. But also they're caged in, right? There's only one way in, one way out of this situation.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Where we have no choice. They feel like they have no choice but to sell drugs. And one way out. Either, one way out, death, or we got to get to this money. And that's my way out the hood. You know what I mean? So I love the depth in that line. He said, between the ADHD and all the pills that you gave us, how we supposed to process this anger? You know what I mean? So I guess he's just referencing pumping kids in a ghetto full of drugs, right? The first sign of them just being a little anxious or excited or something like that, they just pump them full of drugs and they scramble their fucking brains and they don't know how to process these emotions and feelings and whatever they're going through, right? So yeah, man. Yeah, really, really dope verse from Pusha, man.
Crazy how we hopscotch and double dutch danger. Between ADHD and all the pills that you gave us, how we supposed to process this anger?
The rain couldn't understand it. The pain made them understand. Shit, the sun tried to understand. The gun made me understand. The wind tried whispering the warning. The land shaking plus the rhythm is enormous. All the forces like a portal to a vortex, connected to the stars, just projecting where we part at. Pull up where you park at, aim a little dart, where your bark at.
My ghetto's not your culture, niggas really die here. So hard to say goodbye, is the only lullaby here. Kilos turning boys to men, gotta pick a side here. Some with Jesus show.
Talk to him, George, talk to him. That is a hard line.
That shit was crazy. That line? What'd he say? First of all, before we get to the line that I think we're on the same page. I'm not sure. But he said, my ghetto's not your culture. Dudes, people are really dying here.
Motherfuckers die here.
Yeah, this ain't a game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't something that should be taken lightly or used as sort of like this fun thing to emulate. Like this comes from a lot of trauma, a lot of pain. You know what I mean? Not to be appropriated just for fun. I think it's what kind of Malice was getting at with that line. So I thought that was a dope ass line.
Yeah, man. And also, dude, with the Kendrick and Drake thing, I had a lot of people in my personal life, man, that was like, yeah, it's not what I'm saying, it's what the culture's feeling, quoting that Kendrick line, right? And I got good friends of mine, in other cities, what I'm saying? Let's just keep it at that. They're like, yeah, it's what the culture's feeling and this and that. It's not what Drake ain't about the culture. Motherfucker, you ain't about the culture either. You grew up in, I was about to say the city, but you grew up in a suburban area and you ain't never seen no gun, no nothing, no, you ain't never been part of that culture at all. So what are we talking about? So my point is, I think everyone's using this culture line as just something to say as a crutch. I think they're just like, yeah, it's just the popular thing to say. Yeah, it's about from the culture, man. It's about
without
the culture.
Really understanding it.
Like, dude, stop it.
Right.
Stop it.
Without being from it, understanding it and understanding sort of the roots of it and what makes it tick, right? So I love that, man. Then he said, so hard to say goodbye. It's the only lullaby here.
Yeah, that's hard.
So yeah, that was a really dope line, man, because it's layered, right? So hard to say goodbye. So he's referencing Boyz II Men. They made the song, It's So Hard to Say Goodbye, right? But he's saying so hard to say goodbye. That's the only lullaby here. So we're talking about Community, right? And we're talking about, and when I think of a lullaby, I think of something that's being sung to a child.
Yes.
Right?
Before they go to sleep or whatever.
Before they go to sleep. So there's no lullabies for kids in the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? The only lullabies they get is when someone gets killed.
Yeah.
And then someone has to sing It's So Hard to Say Goodbye at their funerals.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that line right there was crazy. Obviously the Boys and Men played was slick, but just the depth in that was really dope.
Yeah, that was hard.
Ah, yeah, let's pull that already though with Malice. He already.
That's the first fucking line.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Do dark. Where your bark at?
My ghetto's not your culture. Niggas really die here. So hard to say goodbye. Is the only lullaby here. Kilos turning boys to men. Gotta pick a side here. Some with Jesus Shuttlesworth. Some of us were not sayers as time goes by.
So he
it's a
brought that
9 for not here. My niggas,
He brought that fucking Boys to Men scheme home. We stopped it before we even got there.
That was crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the kilos turning boys to men. Gotta pick a side here is crazy. So obviously, you know, now he brought in like Boys to Men, right?
Yep.
So he's bringing a reference of Boys to Men home, but
the
kilos,
drugs,
as in cocaine, like
Yeah.
keys of coke, turn boys to men. So when you're in the streets and you're selling drugs, you have to grow up really fast. Is what it's saying, right? It's turning boys to men.
Yep.
Meaning you have to deal with a lot of shit that you're not ready to deal with as a young man. So the drugs are turning you and accelerating your I guess your trek to adulthood, right?
Yeah.
Prematurely, right?
Prematurely. But then he said you gotta pick a side here, and then he said some was Jesus Shuttleworth, which is he got game, right? He got game in Ray Allen, and he got game, and some of us was Nasir, which was Nas, right? So again, that's another sports or rapper reference, right? If you want to get out of the hood, you either gonna play sports or you're gonna rap, right? Just like JID said, some of us got a jump shot, some of us join gangs, right? I love
limited options,
right? But I love how they're being creative with that old school. Either you slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot by Biggie. I mean, I would assume that they're inspired by that line because that line was just fucking hard. But I love the twist on it. It's not just saying it again just to rehash it.
And I just think that no matter where you are, right? No matter because JID is from Atlanta. No matter where you are, if you're from Atlanta or you from Virginia, or you from New York, or you from Detroit or Chicago, it's the same story. So it's like a cohesion there, right? Regardless of where we are, it's the same old song. So yeah, that's dope. He is going crazy already.
Where your bark at?
My ghetto's not your culture. Niggas really die here. So hard to say goodbye. Is the only lullaby here. Kilos turning boys to men. Gotta pick a side here. Some with Jesus Shuttlesworth. Some of us were not sayers as time goes by. It's an eye for an eye here. My niggas mob deep. The fittest gon' survive here. We New Jersey drive here. Chop shop ride here. This jack in the box shouldn't come as no surprise here. We niggas drink their own street cred. Gets denied here. Section 8 living. We treat it like a township. Mother, auntie, cousin couldn't.
Lyricist of the year, man. Lyricist of the year to me, man. Give him Lyricist of the year. Lyricist of the year to me, thus far.
God.
Malice, always Ransom.
Ransom,
We can throw
yeah.
Nick Grand in there. We can throw, JID is rapping too. Pusha's doing his thing.
Yeah.
Everybody doing their thing. But if you want to know who I think the lyricist of the year so far is, it might be this guy.
Yeah,
Everything he is touching, he is smoking, man.
Yeah.
But when Malice, when he came with the Mobb Deep,
Yeah.
Malice, you could tell that they love, and they said in interviews, they love Mobb
Yeah.
Deep, man. It might be their favorite group ever. Now I can understand why. Because Malice and Clipse with, Malice and Pusha T, they have a New York, I know they were born in the Bronx and they grew up in Virginia, but they have a New York feel with how they rap. They're very slick talkers, hustlers. You could tell that they were heavily inspired by groups like Mobb Deep, right? So he referenced this joint right here.
Time goes by, an eye for an eye. We in this together, son, your beef is mine. So long as the sun shines to light up the sky. We in this together, son, your beef is mine.
So just wanted to play that. That's Mobb Deep, Eye for an Eye, and that's who Malice is referencing here, right? He said some were Jesus Shuttlesworth, some of us were Nasirs. As time goes by, an eye for an eye here, my dude's Mobb Deep, the fittest gonna survive here, right? So he's still referencing survival. He did that with was it FICO?
Yeah,
when he said he had an infamous run.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, right? Survival of the fittest, we had an infamous run. So Mobb Deep, made the song Survival of the Fit, and then also Eye for an Eye. But also what he's saying is it's an eye for an eye. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kill me, I kill you. That's just the type of time we're on here, right?
And survival of the fittest, it means that, you know, who's going to survive. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like fucking Squid Games and shit. Who's going to outlast,
right?
You know what I mean?
Only the strong will survive.
Right.
And then he said, we New Jersey Drive here. Chop, shop, ride here. We know in the movie New Jersey Drive is what he's referencing. That's what the movie New Jersey Drive was, right? You know, they was young kids, high school kids. They were stealing cars. You know what I'm saying? So we chop, and then they would take the cars to the chop shop. You know what I mean? That's how they was getting their money. It was really wilding in that movie too. You know what I mean? So again, you know, this is what we do. It's a survival, eye for an eye. You know what I mean? We killing, you know, it's kill or be killed, survival of the fittest, eye for an eye. You kill me, I kill yours. We chopping, you know, we chopping rides up, stealing cars. And then he had the Jack in the Box line to support that line, right?
Yep.
This Jack in the Box shouldn't come as no surprise here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you getting jacked, I think is what he's saying. But you know, think of a Jack in the Box, it's supposed to be a surprise. You wind it up and it surprises you, right?
Ain't no surprise.
But this Jack in the Box, you getting jacked,
I had to get him. I had to get him.
I had to get him. Counting the money, like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
He was
saying?
over there.
You
was
a baller,
slipping.
huh?
He
You
was
a baller?
slipping. He was slipping.
You a baller? Remember that shit? We supposed to be brothers.
He's supposed to give me that shit.
Yeah, it was like, oh, you
Menace
balling?
Society is what we're talking about,
Yeah,
guys.
they know. Yeah, y'all better know.
Yeah, you better know that.
So, but this Jack in the Box shouldn't come as a surprise here, because this is what it is. You know, if you around this area, you know what I'm saying? This is just what comes with being in this area.
Niggas rent to own. Street cred then gets denied here. He's on Section 8 living. We treat it like timeshares.
Tough.
So, you know, you think of rent to own. I mean, everybody knows rent to own companies and stuff like, well, maybe not everybody, but people in the hood, you know, when you on limited income, you know, rent to own, right? So you make payments on it every single month, and hopefully you get to the point where you can own the shit, hopefully, right? But he said street cred is like your character in the street. You know, what is your name? Is your name good in the street, right? And so he referenced the rent to own business like a street credibility kind of reference. You know what I'm saying?
On credit, basically.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Your shit gets denied here. You know what I mean? Your name is shit in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no you get no credibility here. And I love the way he referenced that back to like a legitimate rent to own business, which can be seen as grimy as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, which is crazy, you know. But Section 8 living,
we treat it like a time. Let's pull it back, man. He's got a lot of shit in here, dude.
My ghetto's not your culture. Niggas really die here. So hard to say goodbye. Is the only lullaby here. Kilos turning boys to men. Gotta pick a side here. Some with Jesus Shuttlesworth. Some of us were Nasir's. As time goes by, it's an eye for an eye here. My niggas mob deep. The fittest gon' survive here. We New Jersey Drive here. Chop, shop, ride here. This Jack in the Box shouldn't come as no surprise here. You niggas rent to own. Street cred gets denied here. Section 8 living. We treat it like a timeshare. Mother, auntie, cousin couldn't tell you who reside there. But never seen a father that was government devised here. Conquer and divide here. Crash and collide here. When kings can't raise a young prince, the doves cry here. Candy lady right there. Zombie land right there.
His mind on this verse, man.
Yeah, this shit is potent as hell. Every line is like bow, bow, bow.
Crash and collide here. And even the cadence, crash and collide here. Because this cadence reminds me of, I might play that, you know, I know, oh, you always bringing up Jay-Z, George. I might play the Jay-Z song that I feel like he's may have inspired this cadence. But man, but he said Section 8 living, we treat it like a timeshare. We stopped it on that. That alone was crazy. He didn't need to expand.
He could have stopped. Yep.
Then he said mother, auntie, cousin couldn't tell you who resides there.
Yeah,
so
boy.
that just adds a different layer of it because it's so true, right? Because everyone is. When you think about what he's saying, man, a lot people are struggling, right? You know, families are struggling in these environments, right? So people are from house to house, and when you got a family and you in the hood, you could have, it could be a 2-bedroom apartment. And you probably got like 8 motherfuckers living there, right? And they're in and out, right? People laying on couches, sleeping on floors, right? So he's saying we treat it like a timeshare. It's temporary. People are there temporarily and they're out of here, just like a timeshare, right? Yep. But that just, again, paints a really vivid picture of what it really is. It's just like, yo, that's what goes on in these communities, man. Section 8 living. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, we on Section 8, man. We, you know, it's reduced rent and all this other shit. But also, even with the reduced rent, we're still struggling, right? Moms, cousins, aunts, uncles all staying in under one roof.
And you're not supposed to do that. That's the part to that. That's the part to that.
You're not supposed to sell drugs.
So you don't know who resides there. Yeah, I know, but that's the point I'm making. It's like, but it happens because he's like, you can't tell who resides there because everybody that knows somebody on Section 8 that's got all these people living with them.
Who live here? Who else is this?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? The timeshare to Section 8 kind of relevancy that he's trying to paint was hard.
Then rent to own. Even from really rent to own to Section 8 and the timeshare.
That's
and
hard, man.
Reside there. And then he said, but never seen a father. That was government devised here. So we can go down a rabbit hole with that and basically fatherless homes is what he's saying. And you could say the government's part in taking fathers out of the homes is something that's a whole different type of rabbit hole to go down. But that was a really dope addition there. Conquer and divide here. Crash and collide here. You know what I'm saying? So conquer and divide here. We maybe even more so on the end of destroy and divide and conquer and then gentrify, right? That could be something that he's referencing there. Then crash and collide here is just like, we're constantly at war. In these communities, right? When kings can't raise a young prince, the doves cry here. It's just crazy, man.
Obviously, Prince got the When Doves Cry song, which is a great song, by the way. You know what I'm saying?
Conquer and divide here, right? To divide and conquer because we're taking the fathers out of the house.
That's true.
So then he says, when kings can't raise a young prince, this is the result. When there are kings that are not in the household, it leads to young men going, turning to the streets and then either dying or being put in jail. I think that's the point.
When doves cry.
When doves cry. You know what I'm saying? But also when he says kings, that's just slang for, we call each other kings in the hood. You know what I'm saying? This is sort of supposed to be uplifting way of saying potential kings. When they're not there, this is what happens. So that was a really dope line. It was connected very well.
Yeah, it was.
Writing wise.
This jack in the box shouldn't come as no surprise here. You niggas rent to own, street cred gets denied here. Section 8 living, we treat it like a timeshare. Mother, auntie, cousin couldn't tell you who reside there, but never seen a father that was government devised here. Conquer and divide here, crash and collide here. When kings can't raise a young prince, the doves cry here. Candy lady right there, zombie land right there. Them apartments be the perfect backdrop for any nightmare.
That goes right back into that. What you meant? The apartments be the perfect backdrop
for any nightmare. Yep, Candyman.
Yeah, that's exactly what that was.
Candy lady right there, zombie land right there. The apartments. Then he said those apartments are the perfect backdrop for any nightmare. And I go back up to who was it? Pusha that said it's crazy how we hopscotch and double dutch through danger or something like that. He said. And when I think of that, when I think of Candy Lady, is right. The Candy Lady in the hood is supposed to be the lady that's there for the kids. She sells penny candy out of a cart. That's actually a good thing. That's a positive thing, right? She's a positive figure in the hood. But the Candy Lady's right there. And then Zombieland is also right there, right? Just like hopscotching is a beautiful thing, right? To sort of, it's a nice fun time that little kids have in the hood, a fun game that they play, but they're in the midst of danger, right? Yeah. The Candy Lady is right next to zombies, the fiends that's on the block, right? So it's just, how they're playing on that, right? Like it's just amidst its despair, I guess you could say, there are sort of rays of light, but it's just, the bad outweighs the good, it seems like sometimes. So dude, that was a brilliant verse. This Malice verse, man,
go ahead, you gotta do it. It
just makes me think of this the Young Black and Gifted, J verse, right? I'm talking about the cadence, and not just the cadence, but the point of Young Black and Gifted, I think, and what Jay was saying in that song was he's comparing his life to the lives of people who are outside the hood, right? Yeah. And it's also like, you download our CDs on your iPods and all that, and it's all fun and games, but we really are going through real shit here. You have no idea, right? So it's really kind of similar in not only just the cadence that Malice used, but also the thought process.
So out of the mercy of Allah and the law written in our nature, we call an individual into existence. And when that individual comes, I make no apologies for what I'm about to say.
I'm America's worst nightmare. I'm young, black, and holding my nuts like cheer. Y'all was in the pub, having a light beer. I was at the club, having a fight there. Y'all could go home, husband and wife there. My mama at work trying to buy me the right gear. 9 years old, uncle lost his life here. I grew up thinking life ain't fair. How can I get a real job? China white right there, right in front of my sight, like here. Yeah, there's your ticket out the ghetto. Take flight right here. Tell me you go bye-bye here. Damn, there's a different set of rules we abide by here. You need a gun, niggas might drive by here. You're having fun, racing all your hot rods there. Downloading all our music on your iPods there. I'm Chuck D, standing in the crosshairs here. Y'all straight, chicks got horsehair here. Y'all ain't gotta be in fear of y'all bosses there. Y'all lose your job, your pop rich, y'all don't care.
That's right there though, right?
Horsehair here. Y'all ain't gotta be in fear of y'all bosses there. Y'all lose your job, your pop rich, y'all don't care. So I don't care. Y'all acting like y'all don't hear all the screams from the ghetto, all the teens ducking metal here. So they steam like a kettle here, trying to take their mind to a whole different level here. Yeah, we real close to the devil here. Gotta be a better way, somebody call the reverend here.
So the whole idea of Young Black and Gifted is just like, he said, y'all ain't gotta be in fear of your bosses there. You know what I mean? There, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Our bosses are like kingpins. You know what I'm saying? Like, we fuck up a back, we fuck a back up, and that's it. You know what I mean? That could be your life. You know what I'm saying? You got, he's talking about the difference between, you having fun, racing all your hot rods there, downloading all our songs on your iPods there while we're struggling. You know what I mean? Like, you ignoring the screams and all that and the despair over here. You get to kind of taste the danger a little bit in your iPod, you know what I'm saying, but be far enough away from it to not be affected by it, right? You know what I mean? So it's just a fun little, like, watching a mob movie or some shit, but it's real here though. So I think that's kind of what Malice was touching on when he said, my ghetto's not your culture. That's the whole point I think that Jay was making. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's just a little fun thing. It's like a fun accessory for you, but this is real shit. Real shit going on for us. So I just love drawing parallels, man, because I love Malice. I think he is such a really, he's just such a great writer. He's slick. He's very clever, but he has depth and wisdom that I think, and it reminds me of Jay so much because I feel the same way about Jay. Just really slick and clever, wisdom. Dude, that verse was incredible.
It was.
It really was.
It really was a great
Shout
verse.
out to Push and shout out to JID. Everybody got busy on this track. Yeah, and this is a good sign for the album, dog. Good sign. JID was very sort of intentional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He had purpose in what he was saying. It wasn't just a rap display, a technical display. It was purposeful, and he made a point. And I think they all got busy, dog. I'm very excited.
Yeah, man. That was hard.
Let me know how that album sounded. It's out now, so we're going to we'll see how our schedules look. We might try to get a little something done tomorrow off the album. So please, send us your requests so we can see what next one to do. I think All of Blue was the next one that you guys wanted us to do, but you let us know because we're probably going to be filming tomorrow. So let us know.
Yeah, that was hard, man. I enjoyed that. Everybody did their thing, man. Malice, I agree with you, went fucking crazy. And it was potent. It was fucking potent, man. You know what I'm saying? And he stayed on topic. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the culture and the apartments and being in the hood and all. Dude, everybody stayed on topic. Don't get me wrong. But I thought he did a brilliant job from the Jesus Shuttlesworth to Nasir to Mobb Deep to this is all culture. This is all black culture. You know what I mean? And he's referencing their songs and their lives and what we all grew up watching. I'm thinking he's like the New Jersey Drive. Right, yeah. So this is all part of culture. When you talk about black culture, this is part of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I thought he did a really good job drawing those parallels in movies and artists and stuff that we can identify with that's part of culture.
Follow us on Instagram. Shoot us a DM on what you want us to do next. And that's it. That's the video. If you guys enjoyed it, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm George. That's Ryan. Lost to Vegas. We out.